They thought they could break you. They thought their hatred, their scorn, their judgments would be the final blow. But what they failed to understand is that their venom, their cruelty, was never meant to bury you. It was meant to fuel you, to ignite a fire within you so fierce that it would burn brighter than all the shadows they tried to cast on your soul. They wanted you to crumble. They wanted you to shrink. But they underestimated one thing: your power. You see, what they failed to realize is that hatred isn't a weight, it's a weapon. Every word they used to tear you down, every look they gave you that said you didn't belong, every attempt they made to make you feel small, it was all just the fuel for your transformation. You were never broken. You were always waiting to break free. And now, you're standing on the edge of that freedom, ready to step into a version of yourself that is more powerful than you ever thought possible. This moment, right now, is the turning point. You're standing at the precipice of something monumental. The pain they've inflicted, the doubts they've planted, and the hatred they've thrown your way. This is your moment to turn it all into strength. This is the moment you realize that their hatred was never about you. It was about them. It was about their need to control, their need to keep you in your place, to make you doubt your worth. But no more. This is the moment where you rise, not in spite of their hatred, but because of it. You are the hero of your own story, and the weapon they tried to use against you is the very thing that will drive you forward. What they saw as your weakness is now your greatest strength. What they thought would destroy you will now be the force that propels you into greatness. It's time to stop running from their voices. It's time to stop hiding from the scars they left on your soul. You don't need to heal to prove them wrong. You need to rise stronger, bolder, and more unapologetically you than you've ever been. This is not just a fight for survival. This is a fight for your destiny. They can't control you any longer. They can't break you because they've already shown you what you're made of. So stop thinking you're not enough. Stop believing that their hatred defines you. You were made for more than their petty judgments. You were made for greatness. And now, with the weight of their hate pushing you forward, you're going to show the world exactly who you are. I see you, standing there, worn down by the world. I know the weight you carry, how heavy it feels. Every step you take, every breath you try to muster is like fighting against an invisible force that wants nothing more than to pull you back, to drown you in self-doubt. But the judgment you faced, the whispers behind your back, the sneers that cut through you like blades, they've all left their marks, haven't they? It wasn't just words. It was more than that. It was their eyes, their looks that spoke volumes of contempt, their silence that screamed you weren't enough. You were never supposed to be here. But here you are, living with the weight of their hatred. And it hurts, doesn't it? Every harsh word, every look, every moment they told you that you didn't belong. Every time they tried to belittle your dreams, your worth, and your spirit. It's like you can't escape the echo of their voices, ringing in your head long after they're gone. You feel it, right? The sting, the burn, the way it feels to be rejected, overlooked, dismissed. They tried to make you feel small, insignificant, like you were nothing more than the sum of your failures, the product of their low expectations. And sometimes it feels like they succeeded. Sometimes you look at yourself in the mirror and wonder if they were right. You wonder if you're worthy of anything more than the life they said you deserved. You felt that darkness creeping in, haven't you? That fear that maybe, just maybe, they've been right all along. Maybe you're not enough. Maybe you'll never be enough. But here's the truth. They never knew you. Not really. They saw only the surface. The part of you they could tear down, criticize, and mock. They didn't see the fire inside you, the strength in your bones, or the power of your heart. They didn't see what you're made of, and they didn't understand the depths of your spirit. They were never the ones who got to define you. They were just the ones who tried to break you. So, who's the real villain in this story? It's not them. It's not even the hatred they throw at you. The real villain is the voice inside you. The voice that they planted. The voice that says you're not enough. The voice that carries their venom and tells you that you don't deserve to rise. It's that nagging whisper, the self-doubt, the feeling of being unworthy. It's the voice that for too long you've let control your path. It's the villain that's lived in your mind, telling you to stay small, to stay quiet, to stay hidden. But you know what? That voice isn't yours. It never was. It's theirs. It's the echo of their hate, their rejection, their refusal to see your worth. And you've carried it with you long enough. You've let their shadows shape the way you see yourself. But it's time to let that go. It's time to take back your mind, your spirit, your power. Because deep down, you know something they'll never understand. You've been hurt, yes. You've been dragged through the mud, abandoned, and humiliated. You've felt the sting of every word they threw at you, and you've carried the weight of every judgment they made. But here you are, you're still standing. And that, my friend, is the sign of something powerful. Something they never saw coming. You didn't break. You bent, yes. You stumbled, yes. but you didn't break. And no matter how many times they tried to bury you, you always found a way to rise. They didn't get to decide when your story ends. You do. They may have planted their seeds of doubt in your heart, but you're the one who decides what grows there. You've been through pain, through struggle, through rejection, but you've also survived it all. And with every piece of you that's been torn down, something else has grown stronger. Something more powerful. Something they'll never be able to touch. So, I see you, and I see your strength. You may not feel it right now, but it's there, right under the surface, waiting to burst forth. You are not what they tried to make you. You are not the pain they inflicted. You are not the failure they saw in you. You are everything they feared. You are the force that comes alive in the darkest moments, and the strength that rises when all seems lost. This journey isn't over. It's only just begun. You feel it, don't you? The weight of it all pressing down on your chest. The crushing, suffocating weight of every word, every look, every rejection. The world feels like it's closing in on you, like there's nowhere to turn, nowhere to hide. You've been dragged through the mud, kicked when you were down, and beaten by the weight of their judgments. Every step forward feels like you're sinking deeper into quicksand, each moment heavier than the last. You've given everything, and yet it never seems to be enough. Every effort you make, every ounce of energy you pour into trying to prove yourself, it feels like it vanishes into nothingness. You've been told you're not good enough, not strong enough, not worthy enough. You've been cast aside, left to fight battles no one even knew you were facing. And with each word they said, each moment they walked away, you felt it. You felt your soul shattering, piece by piece, until all that's left is the echo of their voices, haunting you from the inside. It's like you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders, and no matter how hard you try, you can't seem to shake it off. It feels like there's no way out, like this is your reality now. This is where you've ended up. A place of emptiness. A place where your dreams have been drowned in the endless sea of rejection. A place where you've lost sight of everything that once made you believe in yourself. And the longer you stay in this place, the harder it becomes to see the light at the end of the tunnel. You wonder if it's even worth trying anymore. Maybe it's easier to just accept that this is who you are. That this is all you'll ever be. A victim of their hatred. A shadow of the person you once thought you could be. You felt the sting of their words, haven't you? Those words that cut through you like a razor, leaving marks that don't fade. They told you you weren't enough. They told you you'd never make it. And every time you believed them, every time you let their hatred seep into your heart, it's like you've buried yourself even deeper. And now, here you are, sitting in the rubble of all that's been torn apart, wondering if you'll ever find the strength to stand again. And I know, right now it feels like it's all too much. You feel like you're drowning, like there's no way to fight back. Like no matter how hard you try, you'll never get out of this pit. It's easy to believe that this is where it ends. That the world has given up on you, and maybe, just maybe, you should give up on yourself too. You've tried, haven't you? You've fought, and yet the hatred still lingers. The judgment still hangs over you like a cloud you can't shake. But let me tell you something. This place, this moment, this feeling of being utterly defeated, it is not the end. It is not the end of your story. You might feel like you're at rock bottom, but listen to me. Rock bottom is the foundation from which you will build your greatest strength. You might be lying in the dirt right now, but this is not your grave. This is the moment before you rise. This is the moment when you stop believing the lies they've told you and you start to listen to the truth that's been buried deep inside you all along. I know it doesn't seem like it now, but your pain will not be your prison. It will be your weapon. You were never meant to stay here. This darkness you feel, this weight you carry, it will pass. And when it does, when the storm finally subsides, you will see that it was only the wind that pushed you forward, not the chains that held you back. You have always had the power to overcome this. You have always had the strength to rise. You just haven't seen it yet. You are not broken, you are not a failure. You are simply in the process of becoming something more powerful than you've ever imagined. But first, you have to feel this. You have to face this moment of despair. You have to let the tears fall, let the anger rise, let the frustration burn, and then, and only then, will you see that you have everything it takes to rebuild from the ground up. This is not the end. This is where the real transformation begins. The pain you feel right now, that's the fuel for your fire. The heartbreak, the rejection, the betrayal. All of it has led you to this moment, and in this moment, something incredible is about to happen. You're going to realize that you are not the sum of their hatred. You are not the weight of their judgment. You are the strength that rises when everything else falls away. And when you look back on this moment, when you look back on the darkest chapter of your story, you'll see it for what it truly is, the turning point, the moment that changed everything. The moment you decided that no one, not even their hatred, could define you any longer. You are not done. Not yet. Not ever. In the depths of this darkness, when the weight of the world feels unbearable, it's easy to forget something crucial. It's easy to, even now, when you feel like the walls are closing in and there's no way out, there's something inside you that can never be extinguished. In the deepest corners of despair, there is always a spark, a flicker of light that refuses to die. The fire that burns inside you is not subject to their hatred. It is not vulnerable to their rejection. It has always been there, even when you couldn't see it. And though they tried to bury it beneath their cruel words and their false judgments, they only pushed it deeper into the earth, where it has been growing, silently waiting for this moment to rise. This is the moment when you need to stop looking outside of yourself for the answers. Stop waiting for someone else to give you permission to change. The truth is, you have everything you need inside you right now. You've always had it. Your power, your strength, your resilience, they've been there, lying dormant, waiting for you to wake up to them. You don't need to seek validation from the world anymore. The world may have rejected you, but it was never meant to define your worth. Your worth was always defined by something greater, the fire that burns inside you. In the darkness, growth happens. In the darkness, growth happens. The strongest trees grow deep roots in the soil, and the most beautiful flowers bloom after the harshest winters. Every storm you've weathered has been preparing you for this. Every moment of pain, every cut, every wound, it's all been part of the process. You were not meant to stay broken. You were meant to rise. But to rise, you have to trust that the seeds of change are already planted within you. Even in the midst of their hatred, you found your fire. They thought they could snuff it out, thought they could drown it in their negativity. But what they failed to realize is that your fire is not like theirs. It doesn't burn out. It doesn't die. It only grows stronger the more they try to put it out. And now, it's time for that fire to burn bright. I know you've been hurt. I know you've been rejected, beaten down, and told you weren't enough. But I need you to understand something. All of that. The pain, the rejection, the betrayal. It has not been in vain. It has all been part of your transformation. The soil may have felt like quicksand, but it was also the place where your roots grew deep. Every tear, every moment of despair, every shred of hope you clung to, they were the water that nourished the seeds inside you, and now you are ready to bloom. The journey ahead will not be easy. There will be times when the path feels unclear, when the weight of the world tries to pull you back down, but you are no longer the person you once were. You are not defined by your past struggles, and you are not defined by the hatred they threw at you. You are defined by the strength that rises from within you. You are defined by the fire you've learned to ignite in the darkest nights. You are defined by the fire you've learned to ignite in the darkest nights. You are defined by the fire you've learned to ignite in the darkest nights. You are defined by your ability to grow, to change, and to rise above the circumstances that once seemed insurmountable. It's time to embrace your power. It's time to look in the mirror and see the warrior who has been forged through fire, the person who has survived the storm and is now stronger because of it. You are not fragile. You are resilient. You are not helpless. You are powerful. You are not alone. You are connected to a force greater than any hatred, any fear, any doubt. In the darkness, you were being prepared. In the silence, you were being strengthened. The pain you've endured has been the crucible in which your true self was forged. And now, with every step forward, you are reborn. You are not the same person you were before the storm. You are someone new, someone stronger, someone more capable, someone who can rise above it all. This is the turning point. This is where you begin to take control of your story. The darkness will not last forever, and when the light finally comes, you will stand tall, proud, and unshakable, knowing that you were never meant to be defeated. You were always meant to rise. And now, you will. It's time. Right now, right this very moment, is when you stop waiting for someone to tell you that you're worthy. It's time to reclaim what's yours. Stop looking outside of yourself for validation. Stop hoping that the world will see you for who you truly are. The truth is, the world doesn't get to decide your worth. The only validation you need is from within. You don't need their approval. You never did. What they said about you, what they did to you, it was never about you. It was about them. It was about their need to control, to belittle, to put you in a box that you were never meant to fit into. But you were never meant for their boxes. You were never meant to live by their rules. You were meant to break through, to shatter every expectation they placed on you, and that's where your power lies. Inside of you. Not in their words, not in their rejection, not in their hatred. Your power is in the quiet strength that beats in your chest. Your power is in your ability to rise from the ashes. It's time to stop playing small. It's time to stop pretending that you don't deserve everything you've ever dreamed of. You are not weak. You are not powerless. The truth is, all the pain, all the rejection, all the hatred, they were never meant to break you. They were meant to fuel you. The rejection, that's your weapon. The hatred, that's your weapon. Every cruel word, every sneer, every attempt to diminish you, those are the very things that will propel you forward. Think about it. What is a blade without fire? What is steel without the forge? The hatred they aimed at you, the rejection they hurled your way, these are not burdens you have to carry. These are the very things that will forge you into the weapon you were always meant to be. You've been tempered in fire. You've been hardened by their words. And now, you're ready to use all that pain as fuel for your rise. You see, pain is not your enemy. Pain is your ally. Pain is what makes you strong. Pain is what builds resilience. And right now, in this moment, it's time to turn that pain into something unstoppable. You no longer need to hide from it. You don't need to push it down or pretend it doesn't exist. You need to face it head on, take it in your hands, and turn it into your strength. When they rejected you, they didn't break you. They gave you the very fuel you need to build your empire. When they hated you, they didn't defeat you. They only lit a fire inside you that will burn brighter than anything they could ever imagine. And this is where your real power begins. Not from their approval, not from their acceptance, but from your ability to transform everything they threw at you into the very strength that will carry you forward. The truth is, everything you need to rise, to rebuild, to reclaim what's yours, it's already inside of you. You don't need to wait for anyone to give you permission to be great. You don't need to wait for anyone to validate your worth. You are worthy now. You are powerful now. You are unstoppable now. And all you need to do is recognize it. All you need to do is take control. Take control of your narrative. You are no longer a victim to their hatred. You are no longer a prisoner of their rejection. You are the creator of your story. And from now on, you will build your life from the inside out. Not from the opinions of others, not from the judgments of a world that doesn't understand you. You will build it from the truth of who you are. Powerful, unshakable, and worthy of everything you desire. This is where it all changes. This is where you start rebuilding, not from the outside in, but from the inside out. You don't need to rely on their approval. You don't need to wait for them to see you for who you truly are. You are already enough. You always have been. So stop waiting for someone else to give you permission. Stop waiting for someone else to tell you that you can rise. You are the only one who can do that. You are the only one who can claim your power. You are the only one who can take what's rightfully yours. The world will never give you what you deserve until you start giving it to yourself first. You are the one who decides your worth. You are the one who decides your future. You are the one who has the power to turn every rejection, every hateful word, every obstacle into something greater than what they ever thought you could be. It's time to step into your power. It's time to build your life on your terms. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are a warrior, and warriors don't wait for others to give them permission. Warriors take what's theirs. It's time to take what's yours. Are you ready? Are you ready to stop waiting and start creating? Because it's time. The only thing that has been holding you back is the belief that you need someone else's approval. But I'm telling you now, you don't. You never did. Everything you need is inside of you. It's always been there. Now, take the first step. Take the first step towards reclaiming your life, towards building the future you've always known you were meant for. You don't need anyone's permission. You've got this. This is it. The moment you've been waiting for. The moment when you finally see the truth. The moment when you finally see the truth. The moment when you realize that everything you've been through, everything they've done to you, every ounce of hatred and rejection, they never had the power over you that you thought they did. This was never about them. It was always about you. It was always about your ability to rise. It was always about your strength, your resilience, and the power that was quietly growing inside of you all this time. You've been carrying their weight, their negativity, their rejection, and you've been carrying it for so long that you forgot one fundamental truth. You are stronger than you think. You were never meant to stay down. You were never meant to be defeated. You were made for this. Every challenge, every obstacle, every hateful word was never meant to break you. It was meant to forge you into something greater. You have always had the power to transform everything in your life, and now, in this very moment, you are stepping into that power. Look back at all the times you felt defeated. Look back at the moments when you thought you couldn't go on. You thought the world had won, that their hatred had broken you, that their rejection had taken everything from you. But you were wrong. You were never broken. You were just being shaped. You were being prepared for this moment. The moment when you wake up to your own power. You were never meant to be broken. You were always meant to rise. How do I know this? Because you're here. Right now, you're standing at the edge of your transformation, and it's time to realize something. You've always been in control of your fate. Not them, not the people who tried to tear you down, not the world that rejected you. You were always in control. You've always had the power to choose how you react, how you rise, how you move forward. You were never a victim. You were always a warrior. Now take a deep breath. Let that sink in. You are not the person they tried to make you believe you were. You are not the broken, defeated soul they tried to diminish. You are the person who has survived the worst of what they could throw at you. You are the person who has fought back against every cruel word, every betrayal, every moment of doubt. And guess what? You're still standing. You didn't break, you didn't fall, you didn't give up. This moment right here is where everything changes. This is the turning point. You don't need to wait for someone to tell you that you're worthy. You don't need to wait for anyone to give you permission to rise. You've always had the power. It was never about waiting for a savior or for circumstances to change. It was always about you. You were always meant to rise. Do you understand that? Do you feel it in your bones? You are the one who gets to write the next chapter of your story. You are the one who gets to decide how this ends. And it does not end with defeat. It ends with you standing tall, unapologetically claiming the life you deserve. It ends with you taking everything they tried to use against you, the hatred, the rejection, the doubt, and using it to fuel your rise. This is your moment of awakening. This is your moment of empowerment. You are not just a survivor of their cruelty. You are a creator of your own destiny. The power has always been in your hands, and now you are stepping into it fully. You are no longer at the mercy of their opinions or their hatred. You are the master of your own fate. Repetition is key here. You were never meant to be broken. You were always meant to rise. Say it to yourself until it's not just a thought, it's a belief. Say it until you believe it with every fiber of your being. I was never meant to be broken. I was always meant to rise. I am rising. I am stronger than I ever realized. I am in control of my destiny. You have been through the fire, you have walked through the storm, and you are still standing. You didn't break, you didn't crumble. You are the proof that resilience is not just about surviving. It's about thriving. And now, the world is about to see what you're truly capable of. You have the power to transform everything. This is your time. Your time to rise. Your time to shine. You've carried their hatred long enough. You've carried their hatred long enough. You've carried their hatred for too long now. It's time to put it down. It's time to turn it into something powerful. You don't need it anymore. You don't need their rejection, their doubt, their hatred. You've turned it all into fuel for your fire. You've been forged by it. And now, you are unstoppable. In this moment, take full ownership of who you are and what you're becoming. The journey that brought you here was never about the things you've lost or the battles you've fought. It's always been about the strength you've gained, the power you've discovered, and the future you are about to create. This is your time. This is your moment. Now, step forward into your power. Stand tall. You are not a victim. You are not broken. You are a force to be reckoned with, and the world is about to see just what you're capable of. You've always been in control of your fate, and now you're ready to take it all back. You are not what they said you were. You are not the sum of their words, their hatred, or their rejection. No, you are so much more. You are not your struggles. You are not your failures. You are not the moments when you doubted yourself, when you felt small, when you thought the world had won. You are the culmination of your pain, your lessons, and your victories. You are the product of every battle you fought, both within and without, and you are emerging stronger, more powerful, and more aware of your true worth than ever before. What they feared was never about your weaknesses. What they feared was your potential. What they feared was the unstoppable force you could become if you ever woke up to who you really are. And now, you've woken up. You've seen the truth, and you've stepped into your power. They wanted to define you by your past. They wanted you to believe that you were your failures, your losses, your struggles. But you are not what they said you were. You are everything they feared. Think about who you were, who you thought you were before this transformation began. You were someone who let their words cut deep. You were someone who let their rejection shape your self-worth. You were someone who believed that you had to wait for validation, for permission, for approval before you could rise. But look at who you are becoming now. You are no longer defined by their hatred. You are no longer bound by the chains of doubt and insecurity. You are stepping into a version of yourself that is powerful, unstoppable, and fully aware of your worth. Do you feel that shift inside of you? It's the moment when you realize that your past was never meant to hold you back. It was meant to prepare you for this. Every painful experience, every rejection, every failure, it was all part of your journey, but it doesn't define you. What defines you now is how you rise. What defines you now is how you've learned to take what's been thrown at you and turn it into the fuel that will propel you to your greatness. You have learned, through the deepest trials, that you are not fragile. You are not weak. You are a force to be reckoned with. You've built resilience where there was once doubt. You've built strength where there was once fear. And now you are stepping into a future that is wide open, full of possibilities, and waiting for you to claim it. Who you were before is nothing compared to who you are becoming. The person who once doubted their worth, who let the opinions of others control their destiny, is no longer the person staring back at you in the mirror. That person is gone. You've buried them. And in their place stands someone deserving of success, deserving of happiness, deserving of fulfillment. You are no longer chasing after approval, seeking validation, or hoping that someone will finally see your worth. You know it now. You see it. You feel it. You are worthy. You are capable. You are enough. And as you continue to rise, to step into the life you were always meant to live, you'll begin to see the world differently. You'll see the challenges, the obstacles, the doubts. They no longer have the power to stop you. It never did. What you've learned through this journey is that you have the ability to transform anything that comes your way into something powerful. You have the ability to turn pain into purpose. You have the ability to turn rejection into resilience. And most importantly, you have the ability to turn hatred into fuel for your fire. This transformation isn't just about external success. It's not about proving anyone wrong or showing them they were wrong about you. It's about you. It's about anyone wrong about you. This transformation is about finally seeing yourself for who you truly are. A person who has overcome, who has endured, and who has risen stronger, fiercer, and more aware of their own power than ever before. Look at who you are becoming. You are someone who stands tall in their truth. You are someone who no longer hides behind the shadows of their past, who no longer shrinks away from their greatness. You are someone who fully embraces their potential and is ready to step into a future that aligns with their worth. They thought they could break you. They thought they could make you believe you were nothing. But what they didn't know was that they were only setting the stage for your rise. They thought you would stay small. They thought you would stay silent. They thought you would crumble under the weight of their hatred. But they were wrong. You didn't break. You didn't fall. You rose. And you are still rising. As you continue to evolve, remember this. Your worth is not determined by what others say about you. Your worth is not determined by how the world sees you. Your worth is determined by how you see yourself. And now you see yourself for what you truly are. Powerful, unstoppable, and deserving of everything you've ever dreamed of. This is who you are now. And as you step forward into the future, take with you the knowledge that you are worthy of success, of happiness, of all the things you've longed for. You've earned it. You've fought for it. And now it's yours for the taking. So don't hold back. Don't hesitate. You've transformed. You've become someone who is no longer afraid to chase their dreams, no longer afraid to go after what they deserve. You are someone who knows their worth and isn't afraid to claim it. This is your time, this is your life, and you are deserving of everything that is coming your way. And as you walk into the next chapter, know that you've already won. You've already achieved greatness. You've already transformed into the person you were always meant to be. And now the world is waiting for you to claim your place in it. The time is now. There are no more excuses. No more waiting for someone to tell you that you're ready. Spent long enough sitting on the sidelines, waiting for validation, waiting for permission, waiting for someone to recognize your worth. The world has seen your scars, the pain, the rejection, the doubt. But now, it's time for them to see your strength. It's time for them to see your power. It's time for you to step into the fullness of who you were always meant to be. You were never broken. No, you were just waiting. Waiting for the right moment, waiting for the right time to rise. And that time is now. The transformation has already begun inside of you, but now it's time to act. Now it's time to take control of your life. No more holding back. No more waiting for someone to give you permission. You don't need anyone's approval to be great. You don't need anyone to validate your dreams, your ambitions, your worth. You are the creator of your own destiny. But let me tell you something. It's not enough just to recognize your potential. It's not enough to sit there and feel empowered. That's a start, yes. But to truly transform, you have to act. You have to take bold, courageous steps forward. You have to move with purpose. You have to face the fear, the doubt, the resistance, and push through it. It's time to take the first step. Right now, right here. You know exactly what you've been holding off on, don't you? The dream you've been too scared to chase. The goal you've convinced yourself isn't possible. The life you've been waiting to build. So, what are you gonna do? What is the one action, the one step that you can take right now to push you closer to the life you've always wanted? It doesn't have to be monumental, but it has to be something. The key to transformation is momentum. The first step is always the hardest, but it's also the most powerful, because once you take it, there's no going back. You will never again be the person you were yesterday. You will never again sit in doubt, wondering if you have what it takes. You've already proven to yourself that you can withstand the storm. You've already survived the worst they could throw at you. Now it's time to build on that. It's time to use that strength, that resilience, that fire inside you to create the life you deserve. What do you need to do next? What is your next move? It could be as simple as making a decision. You've been standing at the crossroads for far too long, unsure of which way to go. But now you know that the only way is forward. You are no longer waiting for someone to tell you what to do. You're no longer waiting for approval, for permission. You're going to act, and you're going to do it with everything you've got. Maybe it's taking a step toward a new career, starting that business you've always dreamed of, or mending a broken relationship. Maybe it's cutting out the toxic people who've kept you small, or finally letting go of the past that's been holding you back. Maybe it's simply starting to believe in yourself again, to trust that you have what it takes to build the life you want. Whatever it is, the time to act is now. You've already done the hard part. You've already endured the struggle. You've already felt the pain and come out stronger on the other side. Now it's time to build. It's time to claim what's yours. Here's the truth. You don't have time to waste. Life is moving forward, whether you choose to move with it or not. The people who once doubted you, they're moving forward. The ones who once told you that you couldn't, they're moving forward. And you're not going to let them pass you by. You're going to rise alongside them and even surpass them, because you've got something they don't. The heart of a warrior and the strength of someone who has already overcome the worst. So let's get clear on this. There's no more waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment is now. There's no more doubting your worth, your abilities, your potential. You know who you are now. You know that you're capable of greatness. You know that you are destined for success. And you know that you have the power to turn your dreams into reality. Now, it's time to put that power into action. Step by step, day by day, every choice you make from this moment forward is a step toward the person you're becoming, the powerful, unstoppable version of yourself. And every time you take that step, you're not just moving forward, you're showing the world what you're made of. You're showing them that no amount of hatred, no amount of doubt, no amount of rejection will ever keep you down. You will rise and you will rise again, stronger, bolder, more determined than ever. So I'm asking you, what are you going to do today to start living the life you deserve? What is your first step? Because the road ahead is long and full of potential, but it's up to you to take the first step. And when you take it, know that you are no longer waiting for someone to tell you you're ready. You are the one who decides. You are the one who takes action. You are the one who builds your own destiny. And as you do, remember this: you were never broken. You were just waiting to be reborn. So go, step forward into your greatness. Take the leap. This is your moment. The world is waiting, and now, so are you.